Hey everyone, it's Blake with FicheBait. In this video, I'm going to walk through the new features in the Laserfiche Web Client that were released with the 2025 spring release. Let's take a look. Alright, so one of the new features in the 2025 spring release for the web client is that you can now conditionally require fields in templates using field rules. So I'm going to go ahead and browse over to the repository administration, and I'll choose a template. We'll go ahead and edit that. This was introduced in fall of 2024, so welcome change. You can put fields side by side and everything, which is fantastic. And we did have some field rules in that release. We were able to show and hide fields dynamically, very similar to what you do in Laserfiche forms. But now Laserfiche has added the ability to dynamically require a field. Again, similar to what you can do in Laserfiche forms as well. So we can come in and say that the amount is required when any of the following or all the following or always. And we can say, based on invoice number is not blank, any of those things. So a really nice feature to have included now to be able to make those fields dynamically required. The next feature that I'm going to cover is the ability to include pagination or filtering for multi-value field groups that are displayed in tables. So I'm going to go to the employee file template here. You can see down here I have a table. So that means that that's a multi-value fields. I'm going to go ahead and click on edit. And if I select that table, you can see over here, again, very similar to Laserfiche forms, I can enable pagination as well as enable filtering for people to search through those values. The pagination helps with the expanding vertically based on the number of values that you have, right? So if we were doing, let's say, GL coding for an invoice, and that invoice had 100 different GL codes associated with it to pay it out, we could come in and say, you know what, just do 10 rows per page, so that way it's more manageable as people are looking at the rest of the metadata. And then as well, you can enable that filter so people can search through those values as well. And those are the main changes for metadata enhancements. Really nice changes, even though there's only a couple, but they're fantastic to have included. The next one that I'm going to go over is we're going to go back to our fields. And if we find a number field, in this release, they added back the integer type. So that was missing at first in this version of Laserfiche, and they've added that back so that way you can fully exclude decimals if that's what you need to do. And there are a handful of other template designer updates as well. I'm not going to go through and show all of them. They're pretty minor, still useful, just not a whole lot to show. But the next thing that I do want to show are some changes to searching. So I'm going to switch back over to this other tab here that's back at the repository. And the first thing that I want to show is if you go to search filters, you can do this in the quick search as well. It's just easier to see when we do search filters. And if we select a template, you can see that this looks a little bit different than what we used to have, even in the initial release of version 12. So the vendor name, invoice number, check number, paid, you'll see that these have a new option next to them. And you can see I can select is, not, is blank, is not blank. So if you've played with any of the advanced search syntax, you'll know that previous to the spring 2025 release, if you wanted to exclude certain things or do any of these other options here, you had to use the advanced search syntax to create that search. It's not the friendliest thing to look at. It takes a little bit of getting used to, learning how that syntax works. And so in this version, Laserfiche has gone through and added these options to make it a little easier for everyday end users. So that searching is now a lot easier to actually perform within the repository, again, without having to learn advanced search syntax. In the amount field, you can see we have some other options there as well, and then also with date received. So again, a really cool addition to searching in this release of Laserfiche. The other one is with the quick search, and you can see here with quick search, I selected the check template again. I still have those options, but down at the very bottom, you can now select if when you run the quick search, if you want it to match all the things that you've put in or any of the things that you've put into the quick search. So again, another really useful option added here. I don't personally use quick search that much, but for those of you that do, hopefully that's a welcome change, and you'll be able to use that as soon as you upgrade. And those are the main changes that were in the Spring 2025 Web Client release. There were some additional UI updates overall, just to refresh a couple of things like the options page, as well as a handful of fixes. So another great release. We appreciate it, Laserfiche. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, keep fishing.